Got some breaking news out of Los Angeles. A business owner just locked ICE agents inside his building, and the FBI rushing to the scene. This is where Democrat rhetoric leads. They call ICE Nazis, and now citizens are taking federal agents as hostage. The left's war on law enforcement has gone from words to action. Meanwhile, MS-13 gang member Kilmar Garcia is being flown back to America as Democrats prepare to make him their newest martyr. And the assault rate on ICE agents has now skyrocketed 413%. And now they're being imprisoned by mob rule. This is not protest, it is insurrection. Remember that word that was thrown around so much? The rule of law is under attack in our streets, and the footage you're about to see will shock you. And while ICE agents risk their lives protecting our borders, your children face indoctrination in schools pushing radical ideologies. And that is why the Tuttle Twins created Liberty First content that teaches real economics, personal responsibility, and freedom through engaging comics and activities. I actually have the monthly magazine right here. Check it out. The monthly magazine arms kids with the truth instead of propaganda. Look at some of these covers here. I mean, FEMA harming more than it helps. Tuttle Twins, monthly magazine for kids. What is collectivism? The science of our fear. I mean, tariffs, batten down the hatches. I mean, these are all, bring on the freedom. You can be a change maker. These are the comics that you will receive. Because remember, Reagan warned that freedom is never more than just one generation from extinction. So don't let your children become victims of leftist brainwashing. Subscribe now for just $56 a year at TuttleTwins.com/next. And you can give your kids the intellectual armor they need to think critically and defend liberty. You can give them as a gift for birthdays. You can gift them to your grandchildren, your nieces, your nephews. Think about that. Every month they're going to get a new package of freedom in their mailbox. And you're going to be planting seeds that will bear fruit. Remember, truth is the armor that they need to think critically and defend liberty. Their future depends on what they learn today. Go to the website, support the TuttleTwins.com/next, because we do here at the Next News Network. Now, just as we must protect our children's minds from indoctrination, we must protect our communities from criminal aliens that the left wants to turn into heroes. The latest attempt to manufacture martyr involves MS-13 gang member Kilmar Abrego Garcia. ABC News is already spinning the narrative. Watch how they frame this criminal's return to America as some kind of injustice rather than law enforcement doing its job. Watch.
Diane, what we know is that Kilmar Abrego Garcia is back on his way from El Salvador to the United States. He's flying here and should land late this afternoon in the United States. Now, we're told by sources that he's on his way back because he is facing criminal charges. He's been indicted by a federal grand jury, an indictment that remains under seal on charges related to human trafficking. So once in the United States, he will face federal criminal charges for allegedly transporting undocumented migrants within the United States. And as you mentioned, that stems from what we've reported on previously, that 2022 Tennessee Highway Patrol traffic stop where Abrego Garcia was pulled over for speeding. He was in that car with 8 other people who he was transporting. He was originally let go with a warning by the sheriffs, but those sheriffs were speculating off camera that that could be related to potentially transporting undocumented migrants. Now, it's important to note here that this investigation, these federal charges, did not really get put into motion until April. That was weeks after he was deported and after the government admitted that he was mistakenly deported. So this federal investigation started when he was already in El Salvador. Of course, this is a mechanism to bring him back to the United States, where he will land shortly. We are told by sources that an indictment could be unsealed as soon as today, where we will see these federal charges. But again, it's worth pointing out, too, that it's unlikely that this criminal investigation wouldn't have started if it wasn't for that judge in Maryland in that civil case saying that ordering the government to bring Kilmar Abrego Garcia back to the United States. We remember that went to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court agreed with the district judge here and said that he must come back. But again, it's important to point out this is separate litigation. That's the civil case. He is now facing criminal charges here in the United States.
So, Catherine, what's next here?
Yeah, what's next? I mean, why are they bringing this guy back? Did they extradite him back so he could face these charges? Why not just keep him in that El Salvadorian prison? Why not? I mean, of course, the Democrats are gonna put down the palm leaves for this guy, right? They might as well bring him in on a donkey, right? It's insane.
So what would likely happen next is once Kilmar Abrego Garcia touches down on U.S. soil, he will likely either make his way to a courthouse potentially to face these charges. Maybe.
You know those streets. You know what's going to happen, right? They're going to line those streets with all of the leftists waving Mexican flags or something, right? That's what's going to happen. The grand homecoming.
That's a federal prison. Again, all of this is unknown. Details are still coming in here, but that is likely what will happen next. He will be here. He will likely make an initial appearance. Timing on that is unclear, but he will be told of these criminal charges if he hasn't already been told when he got on that plane from El Salvador.
All right, Catherine Falders, thanks for that. Again, Kilmar Abrego Garcia is now en route to the U.S., according to sources, to face charges for alleged human trafficking. Our coverage continues on ABC News Live and abcnews.com, and David Muir will have a complete...
So why do we got to spend the money? Why do we got to spend the money for a whole trial for this guy? He was already in prison. Leave him there. I don't understand this country sometimes. So they say federal charges, human trafficking. Of course, yes, he should be punished for it, but why bring him back and spend all the money? I don't understand. Suddenly, these charges materialized after he was deported. It sounds like they just made these charges up so they could have an excuse to bring him back. It's very suspicious, right? The investigation conveniently started after liberal judges demanded his return. But the real story starts with the body cam footage from a 2022 Tennessee traffic stop. Watch what happens when state troopers pull over Garcia, hauling 8 people for money.
Hello, sir.
How are you?
Good, and you?
All right.
Anything good?
You got a bunch of people in here, don't you?
It's 1 for sick. Yes. Go back to work.
Gotcha. Where are you working at?
Where?
Where?
St. Louis, Missouri.
Missouri?
Yes, sir.
Gotcha. Okay.
But I'm from to Maryland.
Okay. Now, the reason I stopped you, we was running 75 down through here.
75?
Yeah. Of course, this is 65 through here.
I know. I'm going to 70.
Going 70?
Yeah. What's the limit right now? Is 70 or 65?
It's 65.
I can see it, sir.
You got all your
Because
info?
I see the other, the speed limit. I see the...
Yeah, it jumps up and down.
Not bad. Yeah, not bad. Give me my license.
Yeah, your driver's license, your registration, and your proof of insurance.
Oh my God. Okay, sure.
You what?
The problem with my license right now is expired, right?
It's suspended?
Suspended because I have my permanent employment, so like 2 years experience. So I need. So right now I'm waiting the paper for migration. For I go to the MBA. So you know. That car no is mine, so it's to my boss.
So where do y'all live at?
Where I live in? I live in Maryland.
Maryland?
Yeah, Oxon.
Whose vehicle is it?
What, excuse me?
Whose car?
I live in Maryland. That's your Maryland man right there. Your Maryland father right there. That's your new George Floyd of a different shade. There he is. Your new Maryland man. Yep, that's how they all talk in Maryland.
Is it? He's to my boss.
Your boss.
In 2016,
Where's he live? Where's your boss live?
My boss right now.
I mean, he's got a real thick Maryland accent, doesn't he?
He stay in Maryland, but he live in Texas.
Okay.
Houston, Texas.
Have you got the proof of insurance?
Yeah, I don't know where it's put it. My boss.
I don't know where my insurance is. I'm suspended. I'm from Maryland, but I'm really from Houston. I've got a car full of people. We just want to go to work. I'm going 75 miles an hour. I mean, this guy is just racking it up. I mean, I guess he didn't read the Constitution, right? You have a right to remain silent. Maybe sometimes you just got to keep your mouth shut. But, I mean, if you never took the Constitution class, then this is what happens, right? This is hilarious. I've never heard this guy speak before. This is the first time I'm actually hearing him speak. And it's that East Coast accent that's just giving it away.
Let me call.
Like, what is he looking for? I can't find my insurance. He's like, who's sitting in the front seat there? I mean, she looks terrified. She knows they're all getting locked up. She's like, man, I told you to slow down back there. You're going too fast. You can't be speeding when you're trafficking humans. This is hilarious. Bad boys, what you gonna do?
So where are you guys coming from right now? Where are you coming from?
From San Luis. So I work in San Luis. So right now, finish. That place finished. So I go back to the house to Maryland. Next week, I go maybe tonight the other project.
I thought you was going to Missouri.
The next project, I told you, the next project next week is everybody going to Nashville.
Yeah, I got to drop off a couple of these guys in Missouri, get my paycheck there. Then I'm going to go up to Maryland because, you know, I'm a Maryland man. Going to get some crab cakes.
Next project, you know?
Okay.
Yeah.
What do y'all do?
Huh?
What kind of work is it?
It's construction, like remoderation.
Construction. Yeah. Those hands don't look like you're in construction.
Driver, everything like that.
Does anybody else have a driver's license?
Driver license?
Yeah. Nobody?
Only me, so it's there for real.
Can you find your insurance?
Si pueden buscar la insurance. You say?
Your insurance, can you find it?
I call my boss because I don't know where put the car.
Okay. I'm going to go back here and run your license and stuff real quick, okay? I'll be right back. How dark are your windows?
Huh?
How dark's the back windows?
Window?
Stand by. How dark are they?
The colors.
Yeah.
From Texas is good.
How many rows have you got in here? 4?
Where?
4 seats? 4 rows of seats?
Yeah, it's three seats. Yeah, with him. Yeah.
Did y'all put an extra one in?
Huh?
Did y'all put another one in?
No.
They come like this?
It's the truck.
I've never seen one with that many seats in it.
What you say? It's my boss.
I said I've never seen one with that many seats.
Oh,
in it.
really?
Yeah. That's why I was asking if you'd put an extra one in.
No.
He's got one of those extended cabs, right?
They saying like this.
Okay.
You know what you got, right? You know what you got here, right?
No.
He's hauling these people for money, is what he's doing. But sometimes they commingle dope.
No. But
He,
squatted back in.
there's 8 people in there.
Yeah, I know. I didn't know that. They put an extra row of seats in there.
Yeah. So he's getting paid to all these people, probably to Maryland, I would say.
Of course, Maryland. He's a Maryland man. That's where he's going, right? Caught red-handed. Trafficking humans across state lines. The officer knew immediately what was happening. Garcia was getting paid to haul illegal immigrants deeper into America. But Attorney General Pam Bondi just held an emergency press conference revealing the horrifying truth about Garcia that the left does not want you to hear. So listen closely as she exposes what this victim really did. Watch.
Abrego Garcia has landed in the United States to face justice. On May 21st, a grand jury in the Middle District of Tennessee returned a sealed indictment charging Abrego Garcia with alien smuggling and conspiracy to commit alien smuggling in violation of Title 8 U.S.C. 1324. We want to thank President Bukele for agreeing to return Abrego Garcia to the United States. Our government presented El Salvador with an arrest warrant, and they agreed to return him to our country. We're grateful to President Bukele for agreeing to return him to our country to face these very serious charges. This is what American justice looks like. Upon completion of his sentence, we anticipate he will be returned to his home country of El Salvador. The grand jury found that over the past 9 years, Abrego Garcia has played a significant role in an alien smuggling ring. They found this was his full-time job, not a contractor. He was a smuggler of humans and children and women. He made over 100 trips, the grand jury found, smuggling people throughout our country. MS-13 members, violent gang terrorist organization members throughout our country.
Over 100 smuggling trips. But the Democrats want you to believe that they were just huggling trips, right? He's just a huggly dad from Maryland. No, MS-13 members transported throughout our country. It wasn't a side job. Human trafficking was his full-time profession. And Democrats want to make him into a hero. The details get even more disturbing. Ready for this? Bondi reveals Garcia didn't just smuggle adults. He also, well, I'll let her say it.
This is especially disturbing because Abrego Garcia is also alleged with transporting minor children. The defendant traded the innocence of minor children for profit. There are even more disturbing facts that the grand jury uncovered. It is alleged this defendant is part of the same smuggling ring responsible for the death of more than 50 migrants in 2021 after the tractor trailer overturned in Mexico. This is part of that same ring. The defendant abused undocumented alien females, according to co-conspirators who were under his control while transporting them throughout our country. This defendant trafficked firearms and narcotics throughout our country on multiple occasions. They were using vehicles, SUVs, with added seats in the back, floors that had been ripped out, guns, narcotics, children, women, MS-13 members. That is what the grand jury found. A co-conspirator alleged that the defendant solicited nude photographs and videos of a minor. A co-conspirator also alleges the defendant played a role in the murder of a rival gang member's mother. These facts demonstrate Abrego Garcia is a danger to our community. We want to thank the Department of Homeland Security, the FBI, our state and local partners, our acting U.S. Attorney Robert McGuire, and prosecutors from the Joint Task Force Vulcan.
Soliciting minors, involved in murdering a rival's mother, part of a ring that killed 50 migrants in Mexico. This monster traded children's innocence for profit. And now we're going to watch Pam Bondi hammer home why Garcia represents everything that is wrong with our broken border and why Trump's enforcement is absolutely necessary. Watch.
Abrego Garcia has landed in the United States to face justice. On May 21st, a grand jury in the Middle District of Tennessee returned a sealed indictment charging Abrego Garcia with alien smuggling and conspiracy to commit alien smuggling in violation of Title 8 U.S.C. 1324. We want to thank President Bukele for agreeing to return Abrego Garcia to the United States. Our government presented El Salvador with an arrest warrant, and they agreed to return him to our country. We're grateful to President Bukele for agreeing to return him to our country to face these very serious charges. This is what American justice looks like. Upon completion of his sentence, we anticipate he will be returned to his home country of El Salvador. The grand jury found that over the past 9 years, Abrego Garcia has played a significant role in an alien smuggling ring. They found this was his full-time job, not a contractor. He was a smuggler of humans and children and women.
9 years of smuggling humans. Children, MS-13 terrorists, guns, narcotics hidden in modified vehicles. This is what American justice looks like when we actually enforce our laws. The left wants you to forget these facts. They want you to see Garcia as a victim, not the MS-13 gang member who repeatedly violated our sovereignty. Now, just look at this image. You see this picture right here? This is the image that's making the rounds on social media. Look at that. Nice, wholesome guy. Yeah, baseball cap, short sleeve shirt, button up. Looks nice, right? Well, ABC News conveniently leaves out his gang affiliation and 21 illegal border crossings. What they're doing is they're manufacturing sympathy for a career criminal. While Democrats canonize criminals, they demonize heroes. Boston Mayor Michelle Wu just compared ICE agents to neo-Nazis for wearing masks during operations. Acting Director Todd Lyons fired back with righteous fury. Watch.
So Democrats have a new problem with President Trump's border enforcement, ICE agents wearing masks. And Boston Mayor Michelle Wu is even comparing them to a neo-Nazi group. Watch.
I don't know of any police department that routinely wears masks. We know that there are other groups that routinely wear masks. NSC 131 routinely wears masks.
Mayor, just to clarify, are you comparing ICE to NSC 131 neo-Nazi group? Are you comparing them to a Nazi group?
What I said is that Boston Police and no police department that I know of at the local level routinely wears masks.
This comes as ICE agents are facing a 413% spike in assaults. Acting Director of ICE, Todd Lyons, joins us now. Mr. Director, thanks so much for joining the program this morning.
Thanks, Alex. Thanks for having me.
So before we get into some of the data that you guys have released, we got to get your reaction to not only the mayor of Boston, Michelle Wu, but what the minority leader, Hakeem Jeffries, said, which is he's going to identify all of your agents, whether you guys like it or not. What's your reaction?
Well, Lawrence, I used to say that I was pretty disheartened by some of the political rhetoric, but I've totally changed to it. It's outright disgusting. What Mayor Wu said is completely disgusting. She actually compared us to a neo-Nazi group. And here I am on January 6th, where many of the men of ICE, brave men and women that were veterans, on the day, great day in military history when we defeated the Germans and the Nazi Party, we have elected officials comparing the brave men and women of law enforcement to Nazis. It's completely disgusting. And I have said it before, to the mayor and to the congressman, I'm a victim of that doxing. Last administration, I had mass protesters show up at my house at 3 a.m. coming from other states because my name and address got leaked. So I know what the men and women of ICE go through every day. So while they may not like it, what the men and women of ICE are doing in Massachusetts and all over this country is making communities safer. And under Secretary Noem, she is giving us her vision and her leadership to go out there and make these communities safer. And that's what ICE is doing. So to call us Nazis, to compare us to one of the worst groups in history is disgusting and just outright wrong.
Comparing American law enforcement to Nazis is beyond disgusting. These officers are veterans and patriots and protectors of our communities. So why do they wear masks? Because violent criminals are targeting them. The assault rate against ICE agents has exploded 413%. Lyons reveals the human cost of Democrat rhetoric. Officers doxxed, threatened, and hunted by mobs. Watch.
And I know the men and women of ICE, all the men and women of law enforcement, they don't want to be the story here. But to paint a picture for our audience, how many, just an estimate of your agents have been doxxed so far?
You know, Lawrence, there's so many ongoing investigations going on right now across this whole nation. Our partners at the Department of Justice have been great. We're bringing cases against these individuals that dox. But we have, I would say, if not hundreds, thousands. Look in Massachusetts alone. We had an officer, his photo went viral everywhere. One of the best officers, most mild-mannered, nicest human beings on the planet. Yet he was described in the worst way with his photo taped to every street corner, to telephone poles, identifying him just for doing his job.
I want to talk about your operation. It's supposed to be the best nationwide arrest record in history. Over 2,300 of those folks were arrested in one day. How were you able to do that?
Well, Lawrence, I think the best thing we have right now is a whole of government approach. The whole entire federal law enforcement system understands that President Trump and his administration sees this as a national security crisis. We have had so many unknown individuals that have been released into this country over the past 4 years that it's situations like just happened in Boulder, and it's situations like the heinous crimes that you've seen us take care of in Massachusetts that are happening daily, that we need to go out there with a whole of government approach between us, the ATF, the U.S. Marshals, DEA, Coast Guard, and make sure we're taking these public safety threats out of the street. And
thousands of agents, what have they been done? They've been doxxed, photos plastered on poles, families threatened, all for enforcing laws that Congress passed. This is what Democrat hate speech produces. But ICE isn't backing down. Recent operations netted thousands of criminal aliens, including child predators, terror suspects. Watch what they found just in a few days of law enforcement. Watch.
You're taking a look at just some of those arrests. According to ICE, as an entire group, they have been convicted of 473 crimes, among them 8 documented gang members, 11 convicted child predators, and you have a criminal alien who illegally entered the United States 21 times. In Philadelphia, ICE recently arrested this suspected al-Qaeda member, previously released into the U.S. by the Biden administration in March of 2023.
8 gang members, 11 child predators, terror suspect released by Biden, and a criminal who entered illegally 21 times. These are the people Democrats want roaming in your neighborhood. But the left's war on ICE just reached a dangerous new level. In downtown Los Angeles, a business owner literally imprisoned federal agents inside his building. Watch this breaking footage of the insane standoff.
Criminal search warrant signed and approved by a federal judge. You are being pursued as federal law officers carrying out our official and own duties. If you do not comply with the duty, you may be arrested and charged with a crime. You're a federal law enforcement officer. judge. You are impeding on our duties as federal law enforcement officers. Carrying out our official and lawful duties. Disperse immediately. May be arrested and charged with crime. There are federal law enforcement officers executing lawful criminal search warrants that was signed and approved by a federal judge. You are impeding on our duties as federal law enforcement officers. Preventing us
Bro, they locked the ice inside the business.
arrested and charged with crime. We are federal.
Locking federal agents inside a building. I believe there's a term for that. It's called kidnapping. Obstruction of justice. Yet the left calls it resistance. This is what happens when politicians normalize hatred of law enforcement. The situation in LA is spiraling out of control as we speak. Fox News cameras caught the chaos as ICE conducts large-scale raids while leftist mobs gather to interfere with federal operations. Check out this helicopter camera.
Live look right now, that is a situation starting to bubble up in LA. There is reporting that these are ICE raids being carried out right near a clothing store. We are working to get a lot more details for you on this. We're going to keep you updated as the situation seems to be becoming more tense there by the moment. We're also tracking this. Democratic Party officials are starting to get
Tension escalating by the minute. Democrat officials mobilizing to obstruct federal law enforcement. This is not a protest, okay? It's insurrection against the rule of law. The FBI had to deploy emergency units to downtown LA because these so-called protesters, yes, mostly peaceful protesters, physically threatening ICE agents. KTLA's cameras captured the FBI response as the situation turned from bad to worse.
Do you think they're still bringing more people out? Is that what they're setting up for here?
I think they're just trying to get the rest of the agents out. This is mostly FBI at this point that are here, and they were probably collecting additional evidence from inside and just making sure that all their agents were out of the building before they disperse. So we are seeing a couple more agents that are making their way out of the building. As far as people that are being taken into custody, I believe for the most part, the people that they were targeting inside the building have been taken into custody and were taken away in those vans, and now it's just a matter of the remainder of the investigators and agents to leave the location. So, and that's what we're seeing here. They're starting to kind of wrap things up here. So I feel that this is going to basically wrap up here within the next several minutes, and ultimately we'll see the crowd kind of disperse, but it's just a matter of whether they are going to.
Every single person interfering with these federal operations should be in handcuffs. But in Democrat-run cities, criminals get protected while law enforcement gets attacked. This is the real-world consequence of comparing ICE to Nazis. The Garcia case exposes the left's playbook perfectly. They'll defend any criminal, no matter how vile, if it helps their open border agenda. They'll attack any law enforcement officer, no matter how heroic, if they enforce immigration law. This is not about compassion. It's about power. Democrats need illegal votes. They need cheap labor. And they'll sacrifice American safety and your family's safety to get it. They'll destroy good officers' lives. They'll elevate gang members to sainthood. Look, Garcia violated our borders 21 times, trafficked humans for money. He's MS-13, yet Democrats want him back here getting government benefits while calling the officers who caught him Nazis. If you're as disgusted as I am, smash that subscribe button. My final thought is next. Now, what we just witnessed in Los Angeles is the inevitable result of Democrat rhetoric. Business owners imprisoning federal agents, mobs threatening ICE officers, the FBI having to rescue law enforcement from citizens who've been radicalized by politicians that call them Nazis. I mean, remember when Governor Pritzker said, they will know no peace? This is it. This is insurrection. Plain and simple. From Garcia, the human trafficker, becoming a leftist hero, to agents being locked in buildings by resistance fighters, we're watching the complete breakdown of law and order. And Mayor Wu's Nazi comparison does have real consequences. You're seeing it, blood on the streets. Consequences. When you dehumanize law enforcement, this is what you get. So here's my question. Should anyone who physically interferes with ICE operations face mandatory federal prison time? Yes or no? Let your voice be heard. Because if we don't defend the thin blue line, there won't be a line left to defend. Stand with law enforcement and check out our Patriot gear in the description.